Yes. Good morning and welcome back to Boston has entered the chat. Travis Thomas, George Balekji, and we're just talking like we always do every show about every single superstar in the Celtics getting traded. Rumor mill-wise, that is. Jaylen Brown, the latest. Did you see this tweet from Chris Mannix of Sports Illustrated reporting, allegedly, that the Spurs are interested and could be a possible landing spot for Jaylen Brown? Quote, the team I'd watch the closest with Jaylen Brown is probably the Spurs. Sure, I think the Spurs would love to make a run at Giannis, but do the Bucks ask for Stephon Castle? Like, is that on their wish list? And if it is, I can't see San Antonio doing a deal like that. What? And, of course, Celtics fans got involved because, Swiss Street is absolutely right, tweeting, you don't think the C's would ask for Castle, bruh? I mean, he's right. Castle played here in UConn and be coming back home for him. There isn't one person on the Spurs that is worth Jaylen Brown besides you-know-who. This from Dr. Ernie. Yeah, that you-know-who is Wemby, and that ain't happening, which we all understand. Boy, wouldn't that be special, though, Wemby in a Celtics uni. One can dream. But, of course, they're going to ask for Stephon Castle if you're the Celtics or any other damn team.
Yeah, good point guard, good defender.
Yeah, what do you want? Harrison Barnes? Is that enticing? Not no, but hail to the no. Of course you're going to ask for Stephon Castle and any other young talent the Spurs have outside of you-know-who.
I think there'd be four main names. Stephon Castle, Keldon Johnson, Jeremy Sochan, Devin Vassell.
Cool.
And the second overall pick.
Yes.
If the Celtics were to trade Jaylen Brown to the Spurs. That'd be a return of getting a young core back, getting good shooters, players that are big wings too, which fit Joe Mazzulla's system. Castle would have to come along in shooting. And then with that second overall pick, that's an Ace Bailey, or that's a Harper out of Rutgers, or maybe a different prospect that they think highly of. Maybe they flip the second, go further back.
I was going to say maybe.
I'm not going to get too minutiae on it. This is also a situation where if the Celtics can move up in the draft, get a second overall pick, they can offload their future firsts, and then I think that's when you get the Nets into the picture and offload, say, a Kristaps Porzingis, maybe a Sam Hauser, to get well under that tax threshold and start. But I also think if you're going second overall pick and core of players, I would go with the Jaylen Brown and a Sam Hauser, maybe a Jaylen Brown and a Peyton Pritchard, maybe a Jaylen Brown and a Derek White possibly. I haven't seen how those numbers work with the Spurs, but you want players in return. You can make this roster a lot younger, get well under both the first and second apron for the Celtics. This is a trade that makes sense, but again, Jaylen Brown's an elite wing. He's a top 20 player when healthy. He's coming off that partially torn meniscus. We'll see what he does in the offseason to recover. And him and Jason Tatum will both be under 30 years old when Tatum is fully back from the torn Achilles. This would have to be the perfect package. And for the Celtics, it's more than who they get in return. It's who they can get rid of with a third team coming into the picture to get them under that second. You
always talk third team. I remember pitching to you a Jaylen Brown for Giannis type situation with Milwaukee. And you said, well, it's not, inconceivable that it couldn't happen, but you would likely need a third team to get involved. As you sort of look at these rumors that we're talking now with Jaylen Brown to the Spurs. By the way, it should be noted on the Spurs side of things, because we're giving away all their young talent in this trade. But the trade-off here is your big three is Chris Paul, the veteran, who doesn't really do well with pressure. Like, the more veteran, superstars you can have around him, the better. Because when it's on his back, we see what happens. He chokes. Yeah. But you would have Chris Paul, conceivably, you would have Chris Paul, Jaylen Brown, who knows how to win a title. De'Aaron Fox, and Wemby, who we believe is that next thing, right? He's ready for the next level. That's a pretty damn good roster for the Spurs, and then you can figure it out. So what? You give away your young talent. Listen to that, in this case, I guess, big four, right? So it kind of makes sense. But do you see a three-team involved with maybe there's still a world in which the Spurs get a Jaylen Brown, maybe it's a third team getting involved with Celtics and the Spurs to make it happen? Do you see that? And what team would that be? What would that even look like?
All signs point to Brooklyn because they're the only team that really has a cap space to take on one of those contracts you can eat. It's also, too, but think about the Spurs on this side. They still have to extend De'Aaron Fox, who they traded for. They still need to pay Wemby. He's on his rookie deal, but eventually they're going to have to pay him. You bring on a Jaylen Brown, $54 million this year. He'll approach 60 eventually and get north of that number. then the Spurs have to come in and hit reset as well.
Right.
And that's why I think of, the Celtics talk of even, say, Giannis coming to Boston, right? Let's go with that hypothetical.
Okay.
This is a Celtics team that has to hit reset now, and they're going to do so. If they bring in Giannis, there's 2 years left on his deal. 1 year when Tatum is back healthy from the Achilles.
Okay.
And then he's going to get paid again.
Yeah.
Sure, he'll be 32, 33 at that point. He's going to get paid again. For the Celtics, I think all signs point to them hitting reset now. You want to do it now. You don't want to do it down the road. I'm always a proponent of hit reset, pick a lane sooner rather than later.
They're waiting too long.
Because everyone's going to be doing it now. And then by the time you're doing it, everyone's caught up. They're settled in this new CBA, new second apron. I think the Celtics have to do it now. This is an avenue towards doing that because you offload the supermax that is Jaylen Brown. Yes, you get 2 or 3 contracts in return, and then you have that second overall pick. But if they also offload Kristaps Porzingis to Brooklyn, send some draft picks that way, all of a sudden they go from where they're $20 million over the second apron to you're taking $84 million off the books. It equals out a little bit. It makes sense. And again, the players they get back, young,
right.
Big wings, skilled offensive players.
I like all those guys. But Castle's involved in that. Like, let's be clear.
Yeah, I mean, if he is what makes or breaks this trade and it truly makes sense, and you get a second overall pick, Stephon Castle, let's say, because I didn't put a Devin Vassell in my deal.
Yeah.
I wouldn't, if the Celtics are all in on this and they want to make it happen, I wouldn't kill myself and kill the trade because of a Stephon Castle, especially if it makes sense on the books. Again, though, like the Spurs have to be up for it. I mean, Jaylen Brown carries a very heavy paycheck with him.
Sure.
And just as the Celtics are trying to get under, the Spurs know what they have with Wemby is special, but they know he's going to get paid eventually. And the Spurs can sit back and look, like, you're talking about it has to be a Stephon Castle, right? He has to be there.
I think so.
And he's a good player.
Yes.
Cool. Keldon Johnson's a good player.
He is.
Devin Vassell's a good player.
He is.
Then you add an Ace Bailey. You have all these young guys that are cheap around Wemby, who if he plays a full season, will be a top 5 player in this league.
Sure, yeah.
And then you extended De'Aaron Fox. And instead of being in the Celtics situation where you have to blow everything up and tear it all down, they're now in a spot where the Celtics envy to be.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense from a business standpoint. I wonder, too, from the Spurs, is this, and these are just rumors, by the way. None of this is concrete. But if these rumors are true, is this something where they're maybe concerned with Wemby's future? Because you know what he was dealing with is heavy stuff.
Yeah.
So maybe it's a situation where, we do have a De'Aaron Fox here. We have some young talent. Let's get another bona fide superstar in here now, just in case something goes south with Wemby and we can't count on him. We have guys we can still win. We can still be sustainable.
Yeah.
But best case scenario, which we're all assuming, Wemby's fine, and we have an all-star team around him. So I get the Spurs angle. There's another, and I've told you this from the beginning, there's another team in Texas that I think should get involved with Jaylen Brown. It ain't the Spurs. It's the Rockets. And it's our old friend, Ime Udoka. If I'm the Rockets and I'm Ime, I've already made the call to Boston and say, hey, remember me? Yeah, I know it didn't work out, but I want Jaylen Brown. Because they have young talent to give up, too. This will be fascinating to watch all summer. Gut feel on this, final thoughts here before we go to break. There are other pieces to trade on the Celtics roster that we're all anticipating is going to happen anyways. In the end, I don't think Jaylen Brown goes anywhere.
Same.
Gut feel.
I
You
think
agree?
The Drew Holiday still carries value
Yes.
for a championship team.
Yes.
Kristaps Porzingis is going to go. You're going to have to send draft picks. But when you look at a Sam Hauser and you look at Peyton Pritchard, 6th man of the year, can be a starting player on a championship team.
Boy.
And the value of his contract as well.
Yeah.
Those are the moves that are being made. Hauser, Pritchard, Porzingis, Holiday. Maybe even a Derek White if the return can be ridiculous. But I don't think Jaylen Brown goes. And also, I don't want to trade a Jaylen Brown.
Sure.
Because what you get with these young guys, you hope one day they can become a top 20 player. Jaylen Brown is top 20, top 15. He showed up in the postseason. He's won championships, that experience. He wants to be a leader. He is a leader. That's what you want when you draft guys, when you sign these young guys, when you trade for them. Again, what's a prospect and what's a proven commodity? Jaylen Brown is proven.